then I can decide later. If I don't click on record, then I don't have that option, right? At any rate, it's the Brain Food Academy. Okay, so I don't know if everybody realizes, but when we say we can make multiple pages around one offer, that means that we can go after different key phrases and get traffic to our website based on a whole different key phrase. So what I did, I had ran out of my free Jaxi, pardon me. So I used another email I have, and I signed up for a new one. And I'll go over this. So let me share my screen, and then it'll make sense what I'm talking about. And I was thinking that, it might be helpful to go over file sharing and file saving and that type of thing at some point in time. One participant can share at a time, multiple advanced sharing. No, wait a minute. That's not what I want. Here we go.
What you can also do in one of these meetings, if not today, is basically show people when they get down to getting their pages modified, how they set up floating pages. Kind of run over that.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I did, Pam, in a sense that right now I didn't include that in my category, so it is floating out there. But what I was going to do is just show you how I analyzed what key phrase to write the page about. So you guys are seeing my screen, okay, right?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so let me go ahead and I'm going to open my file explorer here. And then I'm going to navigate to where I have the information for that page that I wrote. And that's over here. This is on my Microsoft OneDrive. Okay. You know what? I need to close this. That'll be all right. So PBS is my high level, and then it's going to be in this folder right here, DTC, this one. And then going to be inside this education folder right here. So I have all of the direct net Cash Network direct links are all in here. CC Meets, Corkspin, all you guys. Here's the Kudo snack. So I separate it that way so I can navigate to where I want to go. So in education, we have more than one thing, right? So I have more than one folder in here. And so, we have this is the one I created right here, online homeschool. Okay, so this is the key phrase that I went after. So let me show you. I took a screenshot. Every time I log into Jaxi, they take away one of my searches. They give you 30 free searches, whether I search for something or not. So I'm not gonna, maybe one of these times we'll do this from scratch, but you can see it here on my image because I took a screenshot of it. That this is how this works. So when you I originally searched for homeschooling programs, right? And so what this reads here, this is Jaxi, Jaxa, 2A's, xy.com. And you can sign up for a free account. Just got to give them, if you have more than one email, you can get 60. I'm up to the 90 level now. So bottom line is I only search this one thing. So here's homeschooling. The way you read this is the average of searches per month is 224 if you were writing a page around homeschooling programs. And then there's quite a bit of competition. This is the competition right here, 241. But if you were to land on Google's first page, you could expect 39 visits from these 224 searches. Okay, that's how you read this. So I'm looking down here and I'm going, okay, this is this and homeschooling and this. Oh, look, this is really good. But this one has, I didn't even get the QSR because this one's going to be highly competitive. This says normal. This number over here, the SEO, you want this to be above 80. All right. And so I ended up choosing this one, online homeschool program. There's 3,450 people that search for that key phrase every month. And there's 587 people that could end up on my website. And the I have low competition in the sense that, yeah, it's 125 people, but out of 3,500 searches, that's still pretty good. The score, the SEO score on this is 90. So it says great. So this is what I wrote my page on, and that's how I determine what I would use for my focus key phrase and my slug for my page. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Good. Any questions about, so you wouldn't want to come up with one of these that has high competition and, you got to click on this QSR to see the competition on it. But like this one, homeschool programs, yeah, you got 8,242 people looking for it. But 226 people, it's only 73. I usually go by this. 90 tells me this is a good one. You see, above 80. You wouldn't want to create one. If your dog is barking, maybe you need to mute. I don't know who that is. Anyway, that's that. So I'll close this. This is just a picture, right?
Are there
So I
any
got this little image here.
Outside?
are
Is he
there any other
outside?
search any other places besides Jaxie that you can search?
Not that I know of. I'm sure there are. Most of them are paid. So this one I know you can do for free. So, you can always do this right here. And, this is the way Rory teaches mostly is just type in here. Now, mine is program without the S. So that's the keywords that I use, the key phrase. That's called a law. So homeschooling option, of course, they know I'm in California. So here's the one. This is sponsored. So the more sponsored you see, the more competition there is. Really only 3 sponsors on this key phrase that I chose here. Online homeschool program, and they don't do it. Google's not going to be exactly what you have here always. They find like curriculum. These are the keywords that they are basically using, because that's the way Google does it. But it's curious, it's good information. If you see a whole bunch of paid ads for a keyword that you searched and we're going to think to use, then you probably want to rethink that. That's the point, because when people are paying for that key phrase, really they can only pay for one key phrase at a time. So they kind of got to decide that, we just do it. And anyway, so here's some videos that come up and stuff like that. I don't see anything for brain food yet. So, this is a good place to get started. And that's what we're doing, is we're exposing the world to this new program. Anyway, so that's another way you can always double check what you're looking for. But Jaxie is a good one that works, and it's free. So that's why I do that. We don't need this anymore, I don't think. I can just close. Okay, I don't need that either. Okay, now flow, no, don't need that. All right. My meeting, blah, blah, blah. Let me get to, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to open a new tab, drag it out of my browser. You can do that in case you don't know that. And then I'm going to minimize all these other, you guys don't need to see all the things I'm working. All right. So let me log into my website. And this is kind of what I was mentioning to Celia earlier about organizing these bookmarks. You're going to want to organize your bookmarks, and they organize the same way files
How
organize
do you get them across the row like that?
because I have them in folders.
Oh, okay. I can make folders and do that. Okay.
Yeah, and the way you do that, so let me show you. Just go to the white space somewhere on the bookmark bar and right click, and then down here it'll click on add folder. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Cool.
So you just
Okay.
rename it whatever you want. So I
Oh,
have these 4
yeah.
folders here, RRR247, and you can see under my instructor, and you can put folders inside of folders. See
Right.
all the different links that I have saved over the years here. So,
Yeah.
if you don't organize them, you'll never find what you're looking for.
I know that's what I try to do, but it's all on that one list, over
No,
there.
you can't. And then this
Side.
whole thing drops down and it gets
Yeah.
huge and you can't find what you're looking for. So you
Right,
want to put,
right.
just like on your file explorer, just like I
Right.
showed you a minute ago.
Yeah.
I was in, I started on
Yeah,
my
I know that.
5 and
Yeah,
then
I
blah,
know
blah,
that
blah,
too.
So
Yeah.
you organize exact same way.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so since we're talking about that and, I mean, I'm not going to make an hour and a half,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I will show you a quick way to do it. Let me minimize the view of you guys here on my video. And now I can move this down a little bit. So when you come here and you're,
Hi, Doug.
you're logged into your correct
Hi.
account. Oh, we got somebody coming in.
No, I've been in.
Oh,
for a
it's
long time.
Brian. It's Brian. Okay.
Oh.
So I know Brian. At any rate, and Zachary, okay, so we're admitting Zachary. Now, what I was about to show is over here, these 3 dots. First of all, you want to make sure you're signed into your correct Google account. Actually, my bookmarks go to both of mine, but that's because I shared both my profiles with myself. At any rate, when you're in your profile here, your bookmark bar, you may be completely blank if it's a new Gmail. When you click these 3 dots right here, and you hover over where it says bookmarks and lists, then if you click right here, it'll say bookmark manager. And it's going to open up a new tab. And now you can see the organization just the same as in your file explorer. Okay, so
Right.
that's why I wanted to show you this, Carol, because you
Yes,
asked. And
cool.
it's good training for that's why we do it in the study hall, right? So we
Right.
can get more than one person the same understanding at the same time. So
Yeah,
now if I were to open, see right here, I'm seeing my bookmark bar. That's why it's blue. Okay, so if I were to click my RRR folder, I'll see all the links that I have in there. And if I open this, see, these are the folders that are inside my RRR 247 folder. So yeah, that's basically how that works. But if, let's say I wanted to add something new to my bookmark bar, what you have to do is come all the way back up here and click here, these 3 dots, and now you could add a folder right here.
Gotcha.
Okay, and that would add another folder to my bookmark bar up here. I'd have to probably drag it from the bottom up to the top to get. I always put the folders first, just like the same way the file explorer does. It puts the files second and the folders first. So that's just the convention that I use. But long story short is, if I wanted to add a folder inside or a link, when you click your star to bookmark a page, it goes where you put it. Okay, so you always have to navigate with this down arrow button. And if you don't see one of these recent ones that you've used, then you click on choose another folder and it pulls up this dialog, which is this thing that I'm showing you right here, only in dialog form, only in shortcut form. Okay, so then you could say, oh, I wanted to put that, oh, it's in my instructor folder, and I was going to put it under students. And then when I click here, it would be there. And then I would click save. And then this, right now I have this saved on my bookmarks. When you first click the blue, it should go back to wherever it originally saved. So I'll cancel that. But anyway, that's how that bookmark file or bookmark manager works. And so you have to use the 3 dots that are associated with right here. If I click here, now the high level is over here because it's blue here. So I'd have to go here to add a folder. All right, so this can be confusing because I made this mistake before. So if I wanted to put a new folder in my instructor folder, I would use these 3 dots here, and then I could do it. Let's see.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Thank you.
Oh, no, copy. No, it doesn't really allow you to do that. So you have to navigate to where you wanted to add the folder over here. Where I was instructor and something like that. Anyway, so it is this 3 high. I made this mistake before. I usually do it from right from here,
Right.
And then the one thing that the caveat that I was trying to explain is to make sure that when you're saving bookmarks with this star, navigate to where you actually want to put your link. Okay.
Right.
Down here with this drop arrow, because it'll go back. The last page that I saved was in a folder that I named Kathleen. She's an MSI here, and she shared some documents with me, and so I have them in her folder where I can find easy, because you know, I have from Stacy, and I have some from Sheila, and I have from Rory. So, you know, I mean, I need to know where they are, and if I can't find them. So like, for instance, when Rory first started teaching us AI, I have a folder named Rory, and I just put a folder called AI stuff, and I put my links for AI in here, you know, and so that's all organized. If I need something to do with AI, and then I'll do that, you know, just click on it. So let me log into my website. That's a little quick thing about bookmarks. Okay. So I don't really need my camera on. Let me turn that off. I get a little self-conscious. Anyway. Okay. So now I'm gonna go and log in. This just happens to be where I ended up putting my data. I have been never bothered to move it because that's where I put it in the beginning, and I know where it is, so I don't need to move it. It's good enough right there. So I'll log into my website, which everybody, and this is what we'll be doing tomorrow, Celia, is getting you logged in, and this is what your dashboard's going to look like. Now, when you come to your dashboard, I was on my dashboard yesterday. This update wasn't there, so we may have one on Celia's brand new website. I don't know. I haven't logged into it yet either. But anyway, you click on updates, and this red circle tells you there's an update. So I come down here, and Yoast is the plugin that we use that keeps us on track for SEO. Okay, so it wouldn't matter what this says, but this is really important. You want to keep these up to date is my point. So now I'm going to click on update. It just does it automatically for you. And this thing right here, Celia, we ignore this. We don't use that plugin. And that's another thing. Never add any plugins to your WordPress dashboard or website, because you can get something that's completely not related to what we're doing, and it doesn't work the way they're trying to sell it. And then you have to have tech. That's why we're going to teach a backup in the very beginning, because if something does go wrong, we need to be able to recreate our page from the work that we've already done. And I actually need to update that or back up that page that I'm getting ready to advertise in a second. So anyway, I'm going to do this dashboard again, and I go back here, and see, this thing right here always shows up, the TSW. So even if I were to close this, and then I were to go here and click here, let's say post out, here it is again. So just learn to ignore that. It's not worth thinking about. But these are your two home posts, and your home posts show up on your home page. Okay, so whatever your .com is, it's nothing after the .com. So long story short is, if I'm logged into my site, so all I have to do is know what my slug for the page is, then I can go directly to the page. See, it's in cache because on my browser, because I've been there so many times or whatever working with it. I just typed an O, and it said, "Oh, is this the page you want?" Yep, that's what I wanted. Okay, so this will be my online homeschooling program that I told you I wrote, and you know, are you seeking exceptional, blah blah blah. And you know, we want it to be, that's a Google ad, that's a Google ad. So we get Google AdSense on our website and make money for that, for everything else that we're doing. When somebody's on your site and they click one of these ads, that Google tailors the ad for them. I know you all heard the Keystone presentation. So, you know, they know that this page is about K-8, you know, about homeschooling. So that's pretty much what they're going to send out there, you know, things about that. So unless they have a history of what somebody's been looking for, and then they'll tailor ads for whatever that person's been looking for. But oftentimes it does have something to do with whatever the page is written about. So this page, let's see, when did I publish this page? I just completed this August 3rd. So it's been a week out there already. And so that's what we're calling free organic traffic, or SEO. Once this is published, even though I haven't posted any ads, it's getting indexed. And what indexing means, that the search engines, and really only care about Google because they're the only ones that we partner with, but all the search engines work the same way. They have these little programs that go out on the internet and search around for, every web page that's out there, and they index them based on this criteria of how this page is written. So let's, I need to spend my hour and a half here. So let me just kind of go over this. It'll be a refresher, and we'll do that. So I can click on edit page here. And then it takes me to this is the edit mode. Okay, we got another person, Doma. It'll be the edit mode once it loads. Probably didn't load since I clicked on that other thing. I'll try it again. Edit page. Uh-oh, I'm getting too much going on now. My browser is slow. It's spinning over here. See that? Okay, so once this loads, let me show you how I constructed this. And I'll just go because it's really not going to take long. And then I'm going to do a backup for it as well. If my browser or if my computer will handle this much stuff I got going on. I should close some things here. This, I don't need this. I'm going to close that. No, don't save that. Let's see. I found a chalkboard. Potential threat, data policy violation, data.
What?
No, I won't.
I'm not gonna worry about that. All right, so that's something to do with Norton, but whatever. I could probably override that if I want. They're telling me I have ads turned on, is what they're telling me. Some people don't have their ads turned on and they don't see your Google ads when they're on your website. At any rate, this is the edit mode, and this is what it looks like. So you should be able to go back and forth from view page. When you click on view page and you're logged into your website, you'll see this black bar and it'll say, howdy, your name here. When you hover over it, you can, that's how you'll log out. But you can edit your page by clicking on edit page right here. And let's see if it's going to take 20 minutes this time. I hope not. No. All right. So in edit mode, it looks different than visitor mode. And that's because the styling, all this stuff is done in the background. All right. We don't have to style it. We just put the words the way we want them, and then the pictures the way we want them. And then the rest of it is done by the program. Okay. So I made this little image when I created this page. Now, if you go here, you see two things. This is the Yoast. And as long as these two dots are green, we're good with Yoast. This are settings. Okay, so there's two components to the dashboard that you can work with. And you have settings and you have Yoast. All right, so what I was going to explain is this Yoast. Here's where my focus key phrase appears. Online homeschool programs. Okay, so your focus key phrase, it should be in your title. Okay, right here it is. I made my whole title the focus key phrase. I don't know why that's not highlighting. Well, there's an easy way to do it. Just click in it and do Control A and it'll highlight everything. Anyway, that's your focus key phrase. So it needs to appear in the first or second sentence of the first sentence, first or second sentence of the first paragraph, pardon me. And here it is in my first sentence. I usually put it in the first sentence. Online homeschool program. Okay, and if it's not exact, then Yoast over here, this Yoast little smiley face that's green is going to turn orange, and it'll even turn red. It doesn't turn green until I finish the page, basically, because but this is how you find out when you're just modifying, you don't really need to worry about it. Just keep your eye on this, and if one of these turns orange, you'll know you need to do something different to fix it. And this is how you find out what you need to do is you click this down arrow button and it gives you a list of the different things, like right here, key phrase and subheading. Use more key phrases or synonyms in the H2 or H3 heading. So I should have it at least in one of them. But let me go back up here and close this up. All right, so there you go. Now, that's just a quick thing going over that. So I'm pretty sure I have it in a subheading, an H3 heading, because I usually do that. Best online homeschool program right here. So this is, see, it is, but it wanted me to have, depends on the length of text as how many times it should appear. So it should appear in one of your subheadings, H2 or H3. This is H3, and H2 is larger in text size. So this is an H2. And what I was talking about settings over here, for instance, if you click on this icon here, you got, now we're not looking at Yoast anymore. You can see I was able to change the text color with this right here. So I just chose this color, and I believe it's this one right here. And that's the color I'm using for this heading. So this menu pertains to whatever block is active. In other words, my cursor is blinking in this block. So this menu jumps to here. Now you can pin that menu to the top of your browser by clicking this right here, top toolbar. But you just still need to be aware that this menu pertains to whatever's active. Okay, I usually leave it to where it jumps around. So right now, this is my active block. So this head, see, when I come up here, it highlights what block is active. So whatever your preference is, you don't have to have it jumping around like I have it. Rory uses it this way. So be aware that there could be two different ways. More than one way to do the same thing in this business, always. So like, for instance, I showed you how I changed the text color on this heading. Now you come to this heading, which is an H3, so the text is a little smaller, and I have a different color, the blue. This is the blue that Rory's using mostly. One of them I left black. I'm not sure this is it. Yeah, this is an H4. So I just left this black, break it up a little bit. I put a, a list here, just break it, make it a little different. And at any rate, it should have this online homeschooling. This thing recently just showed up, part of Yoast. Or yeah, part of Yoast. I'm not exactly sure how to use this. But if I do Control F, then I'll get the find feature for this page. And then I can always, I don't have to type out my focus key phrase because I know what it is. Control A, Control C, and then I can paste it in here. And then I'll see it everywhere it appears. So anytime you're really looking for something on a page, use this find feature. And you can see it's they have it 13 out of 14 times. So my point is your text should have the focus key phrase in it a few times. All right, because the article is supposed to be about this focus key phrase. Not something different. What the reason that is because back in the day when this first was developing, there was people who decided, oh, well, I can go after a certain key phrase and then actually have it about something totally different. You know what I'm saying? So Google doesn't allow that. If they don't see this formula, the way we use the focus key phrase set up this way, then they're not going to send that organic traffic to your web page because they don't think that. So it needs to be in a heading and it needs to be in the text at least a couple of times, and it needs to be in the first sentence of the first paragraph or second sentence. Either one will qualify for that. And then the last place you need your focus key phrase is in your meta. So down here on your meta, we usually copy the first sentence that's in this. You don't have to, but you need to include your online or your focus key phrase, whatever that is. So every page has a different key phrase. Long story short is I use the same slug. This is where you see the slug. The slug is whatever. I could change this to online home if I wanted to, and it would shorten my page URL, but it doesn't really matter. As long as cancel that. As long as I don't make another page that starts with the word online. Let me show you a little trick about this. What did I change? Why does it want me to save? I didn't really change anything that I wanted to. I was just showing you guys different things. So I can leave, and this time I'll click on leave. And that way, if you ever want to go back, revert back, you can always do this. By the way, this is your back button. So when you do something, you can use this back button. So if you click leave, it'll go back to what it was before you started messing with your page. And so it's an easy way to revert all the way back to the way it was. I've used that, especially when I first started. So long story short is now I have this page. Now when I go back to my edit mode, we're probably going to see this blurb that says you have an autosave version. All right, so then you could check if you accidentally maybe your computer crashed in the middle of your work, they try and save you a copy of what the difference was. You can look at that, but I know I didn't save anything. It wasn't anything that I wanted. So you can just close that off, and that's all that is. You can revert to the newer version or whatever. That's something that I like to point out to people that don't understand when they see that. What's that from? Well, that's because you ended up leaving the page without clicking save over here. Okay, so I'm saving right now, even though I didn't change anything. But and then it always gives you this the little one over here for a short time. It says view page right here to go back and see what you're doing. But this one up here that says view page is there whether you wait too long or not. Now, sometimes, let me show you this. This is something that's important for people who don't understand. This does not always appear, and you'll see sometimes Rory's working on his website and it looks like this. Full screen mode. So that business about the dashboard is not showing because I'm in full screen mode. So I don't use that. I like that dashboard to be showing. If I want more screen space, I could maximize my browser or something. There's other ways to do it. These things, like right now I'm looking at this. So if you click in the white space, that'll go away. But either one of these two things, right now we're looking at settings. If I click it again, it goes away. If I click it again, it comes back. Okay, so you can get more screen space this way as well. If you're looking at Yoast, it's the same thing. Click it, it closes, click it open, and it comes back. So you can do it either way. Now I know Douglas has a problem with his. We have to admit another person here. So I hope that gives you a little idea of how Yoast and key phrase works. There's basically 5 components to where the key phrase needs to be. It needs to be in the title. It needs to be in the first sentence. It needs to be in a subheading. It needs to be in the text, and it needs to be in the meta description. And those 5 things are really that's the whole nuts and bolts of the formula for it. So keep that in mind. And as my headings, like if I have another heading, like Brain Food Academy, this is a H2 heading. Well, somebody searches for Brain Food Academy, this indexing that for this page can show up in that search result, just the same way I showed you a minute ago that it showed you the different terms that it was using to pull up that search result. So there's a whole science behind this. Okay, so anyway, now what you do in order to do your backup, and you're going to see this, Celia, in the very first video that you'll watch, how to do your backup. So you're going to be in your right Google account, because this is where I have 2 drives because I have 2 Google accounts. And the drive is on the cloud. In other words, these are on the Google servers. So you're going to make sure you're on the right Google account, and then you're going to click the 9 dots, and you're going to go to your drive. Okay, so this is free storage on the Google servers. And so if your computer got run over by a car, all you got to do is log into your Google account, and all this stuff is still here. So a wonderful thing. So look, I did a second backup over here. But my backup, I put in, I think I put it in this one here, 2V97. Yeah, this is my backup folder. So you create folders just like you did in the bookmarks and on your files. All right. So, and the way you do that is over here, new, click that. The first one they figure you want is a folder, and you can put folders inside a folder. So I'm going to open up my backup folder. And then we have folders inside this backup. The highest level is my drive. And then the next level is 2V97 Pope's Corner. Okay, so that's my brand, and that's something you'll want to think about for your business. If you take a look at my page here, the brand, and that's whatever you're calling your website. And this is on every page that you have. These 2 things are called your site identity. Okay, long story short is that's where I get Pope's Corner from. That's what I named my business. So when you get yours, it's named what Rory's site was, and you want to think of something to rename it to yours. So every category that you'll have, you create a folder for that, and then we put the backup pages inside the folder for that category. All right, so mine is under the education folder right here. All right, so I just open this up, and here are all the different backups for the different pages that I have on my website around the education. So education would be here. See, I haven't added it to my category. So right now, this is a page. It's on my website. See, you see everything that I have. So it's basically what we consider a floating page. Now, Kathleen describes it this way, that a floating page is something that doesn't appear in the menu. And I need to get a little clarification for that, because I always believe that it's just one that doesn't even appear on one of your category pages. So remember, your category pages are this. When you click on this, you have a category page where it has a list of all the different offers that we have within that category. And the first one is Brain Food Academy right here. And by the way, alphabetizing mandatory for Google. But I can get back to my webpage because I know what I wrote it around, first of all. Oh, that was something I was going to show you. Watch this. See, if I don't have any other pages that are named online anything, then all I have to really do is tell them to go, well, it's in my cache, so it doesn't really show you. But if I type in the word online, unless I have another page that starts with online, and the second word in my slug was alphabetized, in other words, it was a higher than home, it would go to this page. Long story short, you don't have to have the full slug in your URL to get there, but it's just a good habit to get into. Anyway, I digress here. So what I'm going to do here is best blog. This is my home page, so I don't need that. We're doing this education. Oh, this easy to back up. Let me show you how quick and easy this is. Once you have
Kathy
this
has
set
a
up,
question.
once you have this set up, so you set up your website in your drive, and then you create a folder inside your drive for every one of these category labels all the way down. Okay, so as you create redo these pages, you'll have a place to put the different backups. And then the way you do the backup is this, what I'm going to show you right now. So you come here and you go new, and you click on docs right here. And I think you were asking me about this, Celia, and I was saying something about this. Anyway, blank document. All right, so it's like a Word document. They don't have exactly the same tools that Word has. Kathy wants to ask a question. Okay, so
I think you're about to answer it.
okay. Well, I'm just
I
showing
should've-
this, and let's
I
just
should have
hang
been more
on. Let's just
patient.
hang on for a second and see.
Okay, let me do this.
You know, I need to do that. I was groping for something to do, and I figured, well, you know, I'll just pick up, and you know, we have people at all different levels here.
This
And
is
some of you,
great, Greg.
some of you really don't need this, but I apologize for that.
Oh, no, it's
helpful
awesome.
to at least when you watch the video. I have a brand new student, hasn't even got through session 1, and she's here today. Her name's Celia.
Right.
So Kathy, welcome, Celia. And so
Welcome, Celia.
when she watches that first video about how to set up a backup, Rory he's not this extensive about how to do it, you know, so I wanted
No.
to a little bit more clear about this. So anyway, now I have a blank document. I just go to my page here, and I have to go to edit mode. Now the one thing
Sheila's isn't as clear as yours is either.
well, hopefully that's why he likes everybody to teach, because he knows that
Yep,
people learn different from different
different
people.
ways. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna select my title. All right. So now I'm in edit mode, and I do control. I'm inside this title block. There's no modifications to your title. It is what it is. Okay. So it's always black, and it's always that size. So I do control A, and that selects everything. And then I do control C, and that copies everything. Well, our title has what's known as a permalink. And a permalink is, in other words, if you were to click on this link, it'll just refresh the page that's on. And that's useful in a search. But anyway, bottom line is there's a link associated to this title. Whether I use it or not doesn't really, it's immaterial. So what I do is I just paste that permalink or my title right on this page. And then I click edit, and I want to paste it without formatting because I don't want to add that. It'll make it big. Well, let me just show you. Control Z this, and now I'll just paste it. Okay, so watch what happens if I just paste it, plain text. If I just paste it, do plain text paste. Oh, it didn't do it. So sometimes it will. I've had it in the past. Maybe I already trained Google. I didn't want to do that. Is probably what happened. Anyway, So online homeschool program. So now this is the only thing or the first thing on my page. So they're going to assume that I want to title this document what I have on that page. So if I click right now, it just automatically names my page that title, which is what I want to name my page. So I'm done with that, naming this document, right?
And
Then
that is so cool.
I type in the word title, and then I'll type in key phrase. Oops, if I could type. You guys are getting me nervous here. And then I want slug.
Beta.
I want meta. And then I want content. I'll put an extra space for content. Okay. So now this is, and you'll see in the video, he does a whole bunch of pages with this formula set up on it in the beginning, and he does it different than I do. So you do it
Yes.
however works for you, but this is how I do it. All right. So content. Now I have this. Go back to my page. Go to my Yoast. Click inside my focus key phrase box, Control A, Control C for copy. And, or I could right click copy, you know, and it even shows you the shortcut for that. If you want to copy, it's Control C, it shows you.
Oh, never even noticed that.
And here's V, Control V for paste, Control X for cut. Cut, by the way, a lot of people don't know what that means. That means copy and delete at the same time. Okay, so that's all it means. It's going to copy it and it's going to delete it wherever you have it highlighted. So sometimes I use that. Anyway, I already did Control C, but I'll click copy. And then I'm going to go back to my document right here, online homeschool program. And right here for key phrase, I'll put a space and then I'll just put Control V. And there it is. Now I'm going to go down to the slug. And it happens to be the same thing. So I could just do it and put dashes in there or leave it like that. And I could just type same, whatever's good for me. It's not going to take a long time, but I'll just show you how you can do it. So sometimes the slug and the key phrase are not identical. So just keep that in mind. And that's why you won't have to add, if you have to recreate this page from this information, you won't have to ask yourself that question. You'll say, oh yeah, look, here's my slug. I'll just use it the same as I had it before. So if I click in this box, do Control A and Control C and go back to my document and paste it there, Control V. Okay, then I go to meta and I'm already down at the bottom where it is. So I can click inside this box and do Control A and Control C and then go back to my document and do Control V. Now that's done. Okay, so now all we need to do is get the content. Now this is where we save it in HTML format. You guys don't need to know HTML. All you need to know is how to get there. All right. So we're going to just click these three dots and we're going to come down here to code editor, click that, and then it opens up that web page. This is how it creates the web page, is from this information here. Okay. So the browser interprets this HTML code content, and then it displays it the way that it's laid out. Okay. So that's what that's called, HTML. All right, so Control A here in this box and Control C this, all of that on my clipboard now. And I click here and I do Control V. And now my
Ta-da.
backup is finished. It's that simple to do. But if I make modifications, okay, so when I come back to my website right here, right, I want to do exit code editor. There's another way you can do it too. You can click the three dots in Visual Editor here, or you can, this is the one I always use. Just click the Exit Code Editor right there, and it'll go back to the normal view of it. And if you haven't made any changes, you won't even have to save it. It'll go back to the user view without any problem. So that's how that works. Okay, so that's a backup. Now, if you notice here, look, watch, I'll show you something. I'm in my drive. And right now, it still shows untitled document, and yet my document, there's no save on Google Docs and Google Drive. Okay, so it automatically saving your changes. It takes some getting used to that because we're so used to clicking save. But anyway, watch, all I have to do if I want to see the name of this document is refresh my Drive folder here, and now it brings up the name because that's newer information than when I first created the document. Okay, so you click new to get a new folder. You click this and make a folder, and docs to do a new blank document, and sheets if you're going to make a spreadsheet for something you want to keep track of or whatever. And we're going to have shared documents in your drive too. Okay, so over here is your shared with me right here. So you can see in my shared documents, I have these different things that
Okay,
people have shared.
Greg,
Yes. Mhm.
okay, oh, when you refresh that, did that page automatically go into that folder?
No, it just renamed that blank document. That page was already in that folder. That's where I created it. Does that make sense? I went
Yes,
here in the
yeah,
beginning. I created this. Wait,
that's right.
let me go here, new. Let me go to my home. Wait a minute, I'm on the right drive.
Drive.
Um,
You need to go to my drive.
My drive, yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. And then I needed to go here, and then it was in my education, and this is where we were, and this is where it was. So it
Right.
didn't really rename it. I could have already closed this, and the next time I came back to this folder, it wouldn't say untitled document anymore. It would say what it is, which is this.
Online
I just
mhm.
closed it, and I mean, it's plain as the nose on our face that that's what it's going to be, what I just created,
Right.
right?
It's when you copy it in editor or edit, what is that? Code editor.
Code editor.
When you copy that and then go over and paste it, that creates the document in the folder.
It would have saved it with just the title on there. It was saving it all along as I was going down. But this is the content you would need. You need these 5 different components to recreate this page. So
Okay.
what I'm saying is, if I were to work on this page, let's say I added another paragraph. In fact, I'm going to do that. Let me just, because I really, posting ads is one of those things, but whatever, we need to do it. All right, so let me show you. I have a thing that I say on all of my brain food pages. Watch down at the bottom about you guys were on the brain food open house last night, right? So I didn't add that to this page. Let me show you before I leave this page. Down at the bottom, I usually have something that says, join us for our open house every Wednesday, and the information to get that to that Zoom training. Oh, Brain Food Academy. Oh no, this is the link to register for the free account. So that's just a link, but I mean, a link, it's the link that we get from our Vortex. Long story short is I want to add the little thing, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. And I know how to navigate really easy. So even though I don't have this, I don't have to have this in a category page to get back to it. By the way, that brings up a thought. So over here on your dashboard, if you're having trouble finding a page, you can find it. All of your pages are here, pages, all pages. And you can see I have 14 different pages of pages. You start out with 4 of these. Okay, so I have right here,
Wow.
if you go here, well, 5 years we've been doing this, right? If you start in your dashboard, you see this is listed by your title. All right, so
Yes.
whatever the title is on the page. So right now I would be in the O's for that page, online home. So I would probably need to go to like, some page, maybe 10 or something like that, where I'd find the O's. The P, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
You're too
So
far.
it's one page before that, so I can back up one. And then I find online business investing. See, I do have a bunch of pages that are this one. If I were to type in online, I don't know if that makes, oh, this is a draft anyway. So that one is something I started and never finished. It's red and I wouldn't care about that. Here's my online homeschool program. So in other words, I can get to here always. Does that make sense? I can
Yes.
always get here. So I click here, edit, and your dashboard is your key. You need to realize that everything is available through your dashboard. And posts are different than pages. So your 2 posts only have 2 posts. I have 3 happen to be, they show up on your home page. Long story short is I just digress, and let me go back to my page here, my online homeschool program. And what I was going to do is add a block that talks about so I want to add a new block, and I'm going to put it in between these 2 blocks. A couple of different ways to add blocks. This plus sign, you can just click it and it'll give you one if it shows up. This doesn't always show up. or you can click after the last character and hit the enter, and it'll give you a new block. And then if it wasn't the right block, this is a paragraph block it made. It always creates a new paragraph block, but you can always transform it. Let's say, oh, I wanted it to be a heading. I could change it to a heading. So anyway, I have a blank block here with no content in it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to open my dashboard, right click on it and open it in a new tab so I don't lose this, because that's where I want to add it. And I have the block that I already want created. So let me show you how I save that. So I go to my pages. Numbers in alphabetizing, numbers come before letters. So here I have it, my blocks. This is just always a draft. Nobody sees this but me. So I click edit right here. And then I have different blocks that I've saved here. And look, I even put like my
Oh,
blocks.
cool.
So I can, my focus key phrase that I use for this is, I'm so used to doing it. So I put in my first paragraph, my first sentence, my first paragraph. And I probably even put a key phrase down, or a meta description down here. No, I just put my blocks. I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. My blocks are a useful thing for me to have. So, you know, whatever. It's just the thing that I'm so used to doing. So DTCA Ambassador Education Program, Brain Food Academy. This is not what, this is what I want, but it's changed. So we're not using this DTC Ambassador anymore. So I can edit my block, right? So I'll just click inside here, and I don't want to keep that first. If I take that text out of there without backspacing, it's going to keep the line there. So I don't want that line there. I want to get rid of that line altogether. All right, so Brain Food Academy, open house Wednesdays, okay, 5:30 Pacific. And this is, the link is already on here. So yeah, that should take them to the link. Better double check that, because no, that's still the same link. That's right. Okay, so 267159642. All right, now I don't want to save this or publish this because this is a draft, but I can click on save draft. Right.
Huh? Oh, save that, okay.
So I'm saving this new one, or this one here, that you know what? I don't even want to do this because I only want to add one block. I have two blocks here for some reason. This block is, I actually have three blocks here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. Right now, I'm going to make it two blocks. Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to click inside this block, and I'll hit enter. And now it gives me a line above it. And then I'll do Control V. Oh, wait a minute, it didn't work. So it added a new block. Control Z to undo, or you can use this back arrow button if you're not getting what you want. So what I'll do is I'll just paste it here. I'll do Control V right now. And Brain Food Academy now, actually, I'll just leave it like that. I kind of like that. I could hit enter and push that down. Like, well, no, that doesn't, that makes it a new block. Anyway, I don't want to do that.
I like that.
I'm going to leave it like that, but watch what happens when I hold the shift down and hit the enter. See, it will do what I want.
Okay.
But I do like it the other way better. So I'll use my back arrow right here, because I'm going to keep it like this. Now I'm going to save my draft. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click in this, and I'm going to click these three dots, and I'm going to do copy right there. And then I'm going to go to my edit page that I want, where I wanted to add it. This is the block. Now I'm not going to change it to a heading because it knows I'm putting in a WordPress block, and it's going to make it identical to what I have. So Control V, and there it is. It already, see, it switched to heading. Now I'll just hit enter, and I have another new block, and I'll come back over here because I want to get the second part right here, and I'll do Control A. No, I don't want to do that. What I wanted you to do is use these three dots. I want to use this copy. Okay, so I copy, you saw it took a snapshot of what it was doing there. All right, and then I come back to my page, it's this one. We don't even need this, we're done with that. Oh, I was going to show you something for that. Okay, so now I'm going to do Control V, and there it is. So now I have this added to my web page, but my backup doesn't include that. So I made changes to my web page, and I want to save these changes. All right, so what I need to do I don't need to change anything else other than the content. I mean, I don't need to save anything else because I didn't change anything. Just the content I need to save. So I click the three dots again and I click on Visual Editor, Code Editor right here. And then I click in here and do Control A, Control C. Now, when I go to my document, I don't want to erase all this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click right here in the beginning of the content information. I don't have anything after this this content down here at the bottom. There's nothing that I need. It's the end is the end of the content. So as long as I have it like that, right now I can do the Control and the Shift, hold those two down, and then type END, end, on my computer keyboard. There's a home and an end, and home is right up at the top in front of the T. End is at the end of the page. So when I hold the Control and the Shift, then type end, it selects everything. Now I don't remember if I actually remembered to copy this or not. So I can just come back here and I'll do it the way you guys do it. So click on it and copy, Control C. So now I know this is on my clipboard. Click here. And if you go back up to the top without clicking, if I click somewhere, it'll unselect everything. But I should be able to scroll up just to show you. Yeah, so there's the end of the document, and there's the beginning of the content area. Control Shift End is how you do it. Control V. And now I have the new copy that includes that other part. And when I do my if I have to recreate my page with my backup, it's going to include that part. So when the point is, when you're modifying your pages, do your backup after you're finished modifying it. Or if you do go back and make a change, just remember to, update your backup. That's all. You just go open that page on your backup
Okay.
your drive and do what I did. Control Shift End will get you there. And then you don't have to either that, or you can do it like this. You can go up here to the top. And this is the way most people do it. I just like to share shortcuts that I've learned. And they can start highlighting here and then scroll down. And, as you can see, it's kind of cumbersome. You got to do it, but you can do it this way too. But if you accidentally paste over your other stuff, you got to go back and do that too. That's the point. If you change one of those things, you want to go there and change it, right? So you can see the longer the document is, the harder it is to get to the end. At any rate, that's how that works. So now I have my new online program, online homeschool program document. And don't forget, I shouldn't have to, I didn't make any, oh yeah, I already saved it after I changed it, right? Rory does that sometimes. He forgets to click the save button and he does his backup and then he goes back and tries to leave the page and it says, wait a minute, you're leaving. So anyway, now you can see down here in the bottom that Brain Food Academy, open house Wednesdays, and there it is. There's the information and there's meeting ID. So I give you this guy's tricks just because, I've been doing it for 5 years. It's ways I've learned to, like this thing here. I never saw anybody teach this. I figured that out on my own. So this SEO doesn't count, but this is not really a page anyway. It's just a draft. So if I go back to my dashboard, I'll be here. And so that's that. If anybody has any questions about that, I think that might be a good time to end the video, because that's, I showed this before, but I guess I keep going back over the same things, but whatever. It is what it is.
That page, that was a great way to keep track of all of your the things that you use all the time, that you can just go to that page and copy it and put it on your new page.
Yeah, or you can go to another page where you have it and copy it there.
Yeah,
But
you
it's
could.
easier to do it. I was doing it that way before, and I'm like, I should just, because I showed you this, you were looking at that. Hang on for a second. I just want to stop my recording. Wait a minute, where did it go? Darn it, what happened here? Share, was it start? Wait a minute. That's kind of weird. Did I stop without realizing it? No, because it would say start. Oh, here's start focus mode. Pause or stop recording. Stop.